Welcome to Liz and Liz Get Literary. My name is Liz.
And my name is also Liz. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We are so excited. We have another amazing episode for you guys today, a very, very special guest. Before we get into that, we want to let you guys know what we are reading and just say hi first. So, what are you currently reading?
I'm currently reading Wild Side by Elsie Silver. I'm finally on book 3. I know I'm behind, but it's been a very spicy, fun journey. I'm also finally, due to Liz's begging and insistent request, I am reading Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I'm really having a great time. Kingfisher is exactly how you described.
I love him.
He needs therapy, and I want to give it to him.
Honestly, Kingfisher was great, but it's really Saris that I love. And just really quick, the one thing I love about her is when we get to the spicy part, you'll know. We'll talk when we get
I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet. But she responds the way I wish all of our female main characters respond to like their little setup. And that made the book for me.
I cannot wait to get there. It's good so far. You are not wrong.
I'm not gonna lie. Is it like Rotabone's Kingdom of Claw level? No. But it is a great time. And to me, lately, that is what I've loved.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not bored. I'm not questioning anything. I'm just having a good time reading.
And you'll be much happier when we don't have that AI cover.
Yeah.
So.
AI is bad for you.
Yes. Yes. So. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Oh, just makes me so happy.
Yay. And what are you reading?
I am reading our arc of Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan.
I've been waiting for this moment.
I love her. We slept so hard on her.
For a long time.
And I'm actually reading Blood Marked by Tracy Dion as well. I have slept very hard on that series. I've read Legendborn and I just hadn't gotten to Blood Marked yet, but with Oathbound out, I just really, really wanted to read Oathbound. So I'm back in the universe and I love it.
Yay.
So
Yay.
yes.
So yeah, I read Legendborn last month in April, finally. And everyone was correct. The New York Times was correct. Mm-hmm. It is in fact a best-selling series, and everyone should be reading those books. They are very good.
Pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. For a YA, that was a big deal for me.
Yeah, because you usually have qualms with, especially YA fantasy and YA romance, so that was a huge deal. I think it's very cute that you and I are reading books that we've been waiting for the other one to read. Yeah. Speaking of that, I too had to pester Liz for quite some time to read a little something behind us. And I have been obsessed with Annabel Monaghan for a few years now. Everything she does is chef's kiss. I screamed very loud when we got an email from her publicist. This is going to be a real pinch me moment for me, and I am very excited to announce that today we will be speaking with Annabel Monaghan.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here with you. I loved Same Time Next Summer, so I am just now kind of getting into her catalog, but that doesn't mean I like her any less. She's a phenomenal writer, so
she's got a lot of the stuff that you love in
romance. Exactly. So yes, like just another, like, we're consistently finding new authors this year, which I knew we would, but I guess they're authors that have been around, and we're just now diving into their backlist, and I love that. So
we're hopping on a lot of trains this year.
Yeah,
of fandoms that are already in progress.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, where were you? We're here. We're on the train.
We were late, but we are conducting.
Yes. So without further ado, here's our interview.
Annabel Monaghan, welcome to Liz and Liz Get Literary. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm so great. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay, we are so excited to have you. This is like a huge deal for me. I'm a huge reader of yours. I'm like they have a highly coveted like face out spot on my shelves. Like I just adore you and your book. So this is great. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. And now I'm examining your bookshelves. See,
well,
I see Same Time Next Summer right there.
We actually get to record in a bookstore. We have a agreement. So we're actually in a bookstore right now. So these aren't our shelves, but we'll send you pictures.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we are at an independent bookstore called Sunbound Books. We are a Sunbound Books podcast. So our listeners get to like shop the shelves here. It's really cute. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, so you're looking at the literary fiction section. So,
Okay. God, my
yeah.
eyes are so bad. It's
So if you ever
terrible.
go on tour, we've got a place for you to stop here
It's
in the
stunning.
Midwest.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I would love that so much. I really wish there was tour every month and you could just hit every place. That would be amazing.
oh yeah, it would be. It would be absolutely just the best to have
Yeah.
you here.
We spend a wild amount of time at book signings.
We do.
So we would love to add you to that roster.
It's a really good
That would be awesome.
place to spend a lot of time because book signings are just where you find happy people. Right?
It's
Like
so true.
no one comes to a book signing who didn't want to go.
That's true.
I feel like it's book signings and Taylor Swift concerts.
Yep.
That's where you can find happiness.
It's the safest.
There are
I've
no
ever been.
haters at a Taylor Swift concert. They wouldn't have bought the ticket.
Exactly. They wouldn't have waited in line, the Ticketmaster, Great War. They wouldn't have done anything. And they're all covered in sparkles. We're all the same there. So it's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just wanted to chat today. We are so excited, and we both are very lucky to have already read It's a Love Story. And
thank you for reading. I'm so glad.
may we say, no notes. None whatsoever. It's so good. I ate it up. I'm not sure if I was ever going to feel as passionately about anyone as I did about Allie and Ethan, but everyone's going to love it. It's so beautiful.
Could we stop the conversation right here? Because this just be the end. This was the best. This was like, you just made my
like,
day.
wait,
I don't
what
want to
did
hear
you want?
anything more. Oh, I'm so
Like, okay,
glad.
thanks for coming.
yeah, like Sierra.
So I'm so glad because, she's kind of, Jane's kind of a mess and Dan's a quiet guy. I didn't know if they'd be for everyone, but I loved writing them.
Yeah, well, they were for us, and we love mess. We are both self-proclaimed
Messes.
mild messes. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there may be a lot of that going around. I don't think it's just
And I
the
feel
three
like
of us.
we're both also married to the quiet ones, so I felt very seen throughout the whole book.
Yeah, I'm married to a quiet man.
Mhm.
And I've never written a quiet man before, but that's like the first one I wrote was Leo Vance from Nora Goes Off Script, and he's the sexiest man alive, and he is not a quiet man.
Literally sexiest man alive.
Actually. And for me, that was really fun to write, but like in reality, he's not a guy for me.
Yeah.
Could never.
Dan's a guy for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Really, I loved Ethan, but I think Dan might have knocked him off the pedestal a little bit. So
yeah. And the thing is, everyone deserves a Dan. So it was very sweet. It was perfection. And it was Taylor Swift coded. So I screamed when I heard the title. I screamed louder when I saw the stunning cover. I was not well, so.
I'm going to go a little off script right now. I know. Who am I? Just a list. What is your number one Taylor song at this current moment? What are you obsessed with? Because it changes. As true Swiftie knows, it changes every week.
Yeah, and it's not about really the song that's just come out. It's like a mood thing.
Right.
So
know.
now, can I give you two answers?
Please.
I'm working on an early draft of a book that feels very much like White Horse.
Oh, okay.
Love that.
So yes, and so I have that in my head all the time. But the one that I just like, if I hear it, I play it on repeat, is Delicate.
Oh my gosh.
There's something about that song that puts me in the mind of, like, I don't even know what the word is. It's like just being like so swept away by something.
Mm-hmm. And Delicate very much feels like the best parts of romance books. Like, is it cool that I said that? Like, is it cool that I'm falling for you and like you're way cooler than me? Like, is this okay? Like, it's still really delicate, but like, fuck it. And it just feels like the best parts of the romance genre. So that's amazing.
I wish I'd said that. I actually hadn't thought of that, but that's exactly what it is. That's probably why because there's so much like drama and conflict, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that song.
So what inspired you to start writing romance? Like, what drew you to romance specifically? What started this whole process?
So I have sort of a weird story. So I always wanted to be a writer, like when I was a little kid. That was what I always was going to do. And I picked my college because it had a good writing program, and I was an English major, and that was what I was going to do. And what I didn't totally understand when I was like 21 years old, graduating from college, is that you can't get a job writing a novel. Like, that's not a thing that will provide you with food and shelter. So I thought, oh, well, I'll get a job. And I got a job working on Wall Street. And I figured when I got home at night, I would write my book. And then I never got home at night because I was working on Wall Street. And so one thing led to another. I did a lot of other things. I never wrote a book. And when I was 37, I wrote my first young adult book. So that was like the first thing I ever wrote. I had 3 kids at home. And that was a young adult, kind of a love story. I was trying to write a thriller. And as soon as like the hot FBI guy walked in the room, I was like, oh, it's a love story. And the whole thing changed course. So I wrote those books. They weren't terribly successful. And I started writing Nora Goes Off Script during the lockdown of 2020. And that was, I didn't know that I was really writing a romance novel. I just thought I was writing a novel that had a love story in it, because I'm not like an industry expert. And when it sold, my publisher said, we don't know if this is romance or if it's women's fiction. So we're going to send it out to a lot of people and we'll let you know. And it turned out it was the romance community that was like, I love this book. So that is how I became a romance writer. I don't know how to write anything.
You saying that, I can see how it could go either way. Mm-hmm. And I think that is amazing. Like, Nora Goes Off Script specifically is a book I can share with maybe my female family members that aren't super romantic, and also my super romantic family members. Do you know what I mean? So
right.
I can definitely see that spread of the genre.
Exactly. Yeah. And like Emily Henry these days goes either way. Catherine Senner, Jessa Hastings, and I just named all my favorite authors. It's like all of the best things I feel like are so... Yeah, there's just so much in those books that can go either way, where you can really catch, like, my great grandma loves Catherine Senner, right? But I would never give my great grandma Magnolia Parks,
right.
So
right.
It goes either way, and I love that. I love that that's how you started as well.
And there's also so much in romance novels that is about your life. Like, when you fall in love, it's not just like getting roses and falling into bed. Like, it's about your work, and it's about your family, and it's about your place in life and your dreams and where you're going to live. And there's so much more to it. When people are dissing romance novels, they're saying like, oh, it's just all so trite and predictable. Romance is life. Like, our partners are our life. So there's a lot to mine in there.
Definitely. And in all of your books, there's a lot of relationship with self. And sometimes that can be left out of all genres, because no one really loves to look themselves in the mirror and examine what's really going on there. But I love that all of your books do that.
Thank you.
I think that's probably a big reason why it could go either way. And it's just such a joy, because you're right. It's not all roses and chemistry and good kissing and falling into bed, but sometimes that's an added bonus. So that brings me to my next question. Your characters have insane chemistry. Like, very, very, like, palpable tension. How do you kind of develop the chemistry between them, or do you write one character and see who they would fall in love with?
It's really hard. I want to give you an answer like, oh, here's how I do it. I rewrite 1,000 times. Like, I get the people that I want together, and then at some point my editor will say, why do they like each other? I'm like, well, I don't. And then I write another 4 drafts. And it takes a while for me to understand. Like, I wish it was just as simple as like a boy and a girl, and they get, it's like, why do certain people fall in love with other people? Why do they need each other? What is it that they're filling in for the other person? And it has to be so much more about like they're attracted to each other. And so by the time I figure that out, which is not the first day, it's like the 8th draft, then the tension kind of comes. Like all of a sudden it matters if he rests his hand on her leg, when it didn't matter before because we didn't know why they liked each other anyways. So it's a very circular and long process.
I love that. And as a backup question to that, do you have a favorite couple that you've written so far that we've met already?
Well, I'm just really in my Jane and Dan mindset right now. I would probably say them.
They're my favorite. So,
Yeah. I just, she's kind of a mess. And I loved what a mess. I loved being inside her head for as long as I was writing that book. And I loved her with Dan. And I loved her for Dan.
yeah, I loved her for Dan is like exactly how I feel. I loved her for Dan, and I loved Dan for her. It was just perfect. It was perfect.
Thank
I could
you.
keep going. So I won't.
Yeah, I think I literally looked at my husband up as I was reading, and he identifies very much as the quiet one, very antisocial, very all that. And I just said, now I get why we work, because I am a hot mess 99% of the time. And I was like, I get it now. You literally wrote why my marriage works.
I wonder if this is why my marriage works.
Maybe.
I haven't really
We're
thought
both
about this.
wildly extroverted, and both of our husbands would rather sit in a closet.
Did we just like solve the question of how to make marriage work?
I don't know.
Look at us.
Yeah.
If you break the sound barrier when you laugh, you have to find someone who whispers.
Who doesn't laugh?
That's pretty much how I feel. Yeah. So,
take us a little more in depth in your writing process. We kind of labeled it like chaos, gremlin, or planning demon. Are you a good mix of the two? Do you feel more kinship one way or the other? Like, talk us through writing your books.
So there is no outline. Outlines are for the lucky people who understand how to write with outlines. I'm not one of those people. It's total chaos. And what I start with, and sometimes I wonder, like, is my editor just going to throw in the towel one of these days? Like, what? Because the first couple drafts that she reads, she's like, I don't know what this is. And I shouldn't even show them to her. That's probably the problem. I start out with something. A professional organizer whose life is a mess. That was Summer Romance. And I just started with her in her kitchen. And then I kind of figured out who she was. And then I figured out who she needed. And then I figured out a story. And then I started over again. That's basically how I write. It's not, I write a lot more from my heart than I write from my head. So I just have to feel my way through the story. And even if I feel like I have, that would be a good story. If I don't feel the emotional development of the characters, it's not going to work. So I just kind of follow my heart around. That's chaos.
That. Yeah.
Total chaos.
I identify very well with you, so.
I love that. And you can tell, like you were saying, like you're writing off feelings. And that actually leads perfectly into the next question that we had, which is about the emotions and the emotional growth and hardships that all your characters go through. They're so easy to connect with. You can find yourself in any of the characters, really, like even sometimes their kids or their neighbors or their parents. It's not just the love interests. And I'm wondering, how do you kind of tap into how so many people are feeling? And it always comes out so relatable. How do you do that?
Well, thank you. I really think that we're not all that different. I really, this is something I've been thinking about as I've been writing for a really long time. Usually the wounds are somehow like my wounds that I write about. things that I've felt, and then I take the feeling and I put it in a totally different situation. But even when I was writing Jane, I was like, maybe people aren't going to be able to relate to her because she's like such a hot mess. And I've gotten messages every day from people who are like, that's exactly how I feel. I'm like, huh, I didn't know a lot of people felt that way. I think that basic feelings of wanting to be loved, wanting to know yourself, wanting to feel worthy in the world. I mean, these are like human needs. And I think that they're all relatable. In this book, I'm writing about a former teen star, and that's not relatable. Like, it's relatable to like 100 people in the world. And so I had to find, I wanted to write about a former teen star, and I had to figure out what her life was so that she could have a pain that a lot of other people have.
Wow. Yeah. Why am I getting emotional? I don't know. I might not be a former child star, but she is very relatable. So
Yeah.
you popped off with that, if I may say so myself.
Well, I think that when we're growing up, and it's not our family's fault or anything, but we're told a lot of stories about ourselves. And this book, it's like I was sort of forced to look at the stories that I was told about myself growing up, or that I told myself, based on what I saw while I was growing up. And at some point in your life, I think it's so healthy to just look at those stories and be like, who even said that was true?
True.
And then just walk away from whatever that story is.
Yeah.
One of the things as I've grown and now I am a mother of 3 and I have a daughter is I consistently was told as I grew that I was too dramatic, I was too much, I was all of these things. And when I was old enough to kind of contemplate how I would like people to speak on me, I really kind of lost my color because I didn't like being spoken on in that way. And it really was about the growth of like, you know what, if you're going to speak on me that way, I'm going to give you a good reason to do so. And I found my color again. And now when I teach my daughter and I talk to my daughter, I make sure that even those loud parts of her, because truly my daughter is a Scorpio and she's either going to use her powers for good or evil.
No, that's
Either
right.
way you go, I want you to lean into that, and I want you to understand that you might end up in jail, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I'm going to support you either way. And so I appreciate you saying that because it is a growth and it is hearing the stories and hearing all that, because in the moments I didn't feel dramatic. I didn't feel those ways, but I was told that that's what I was. So I really, really hone in on that with
wow.
the stories.
Your daughter is so lucky. I mean, that's such a great thing to have that support. Like, you know who you are, and whoever it is going to be okay with me. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. She is like a shooting star that came to Earth and just blew everything up. She is fantastic. I'm going to have the best time raising her.
Yeah,
She's
are.
A diva.
She's great.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to check back for more later.
I'll
I've
write
got
a book and
questions.
send it to you.
Yeah. How old is she?
She's 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's more coming.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be great. So let's talk tropes.
Okay.
What is your favorite trope to write? And are there any that you haven't written just yet that you would like to write?
So I really like any kind of forced proximity. Like, I want to get you in an elevator. I want to get you in that tiny little room with 3 beds. I want to get you in that car. I love it. I'll go anywhere for that. My favorite tropes to read are the dumbest tropes that there are, and I'll tell you why. Fake dating. When have you ever been asked to go to a wedding to pretend to be someone's fiance? Like, has that ever happened to anyone you know?
No, and if it has, it's never worked in the history of ever.
It's never even happened. And I'll tell you something. I see that like in a book, and I'll just stay up all night. Like, I cannot stay away from it. It like sucks me in, and then of course they're gonna have a fake kiss, and it's going to be fireworks. It's my favorite thing. The other one is there's only one bed, which is another thing that has never happened to another human being in the world. That does not happen. There's never only one bed.
My grandma. It's not romantic, but like we went on a trip, and she's so weird. She's okay. She was so weird. She did not like to like hug. She was not affectionate with my father. We've all been to therapy because of that one. And so like it's just she was very just a strong, independent lady. And we went on a trip together, and she was like, "I'm not coming to this hotel if there's not two beds. I don't want to sleep with her." And we got there, and there was no room at the end except for the one with one bed, and she asked me to sleep in the bathtub. So,
And did you?
I was like 9.
That is hilarious.
I'm so sorry. I actually loved her like a whole bunch. She was the best. We got it together when I was like 14, and I could read her Nora Roberts books with her. So
Nora's a slut.
So did she give you a blanket?
Yeah. She called down and she was like, "You will be bringing every blanket in your closet and every pillow you've got." And she made me a pretty cushy bed in the bath. It was real cushy.
What if she was like, "You have to use the shower curtain"?
She was nicer than that. She just was not into any type of
Cuddling.
familial intimacy.
You may have just ruined this trope for me. This may be.
Oh, I hope not. Hey, I
like
went
that.
through that, and that's my favorite trope to read. She'll tell you.
Anything that's one horse, one dragon, one bed, one sleeping bag.
I'm there.
Eating it up.
I'm first in line. Specifically, only one horse. I don't know if you read fantasy, but it
I
happens
don't.
all the time. And
it's not that I don't read fantasy because I don't like it. I just have never read it.
And you're a very busy lady.
If you ever want to, we have got the starter pack for you.
Yeah, we've had several fantasy authors on as well, so that's where we would start for sure. But
I bet I'd like
hopefully I did not ruin that trope for you.
In one of her books, she's like, "My friend whose grandma made her sleep in a bathtub."
That is so hot, Liz.
She's like, "And I never wrote it again, thanks." Anyways, that's my trauma.
Trauma dumping on you. Hey.
Well,
Thank
she said it never happened. I was here to say it's happened. And it did not go well. It did not go well. But it goes great in the books. And I think that's why I like it.
So great. And they wake up in the morning and they're all snuggled up. Excuse
They're
me.
always spooning.
Yeah, always.
I love it.
That's the most unrealistic thing to me because I don't snuggle. Like, you're too hot no matter who you are. Like, not hot, like, oh my gosh, like, are you 9,000 degrees? Like, get off.
Yeah, that's true.
And you'd notice.
Yeah. And the arm is draped around the waist. Oh my gosh, my thigh was over his hip. No, it wasn't. First of all.
That's it, but not.
Is he a pregnancy pillow? Please explain.
Right. But it's always the best to read. So, yeah. Are there any that you haven't written yet that you're just dying to put in a book?
Okay, so I don't really think in terms of tropes. So there are stories that I would like to, like, mistaken identity or someone pretending to be another person. Is that a trope?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a story, it would sound really dumb if I said it, and I do want to write it.
But there's a story around there somewhere.
There's a story there where somebody is, like, pretending to be somebody else, like, stepping in. Anyways, we'll see.
I love that. So, speaking of tropes that you love to read that you'll never read again, who are some of your favorite romance authors, or maybe some authors who influence your work or your favorite books? Anything you'd like to share in that realm?
Well, okay, so in romance, I mean, I could just bore you to death. It's like everyone you've heard of. Like, I absolutely adore Carly Fortune, Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez, Catherine Center, like all the big dogs. Ellen Hildebrand. I love them all.
I love Ellen.
One that you maybe have not heard of, just because she's newer, is named Maggie North. She is Canadian, and she wrote Rules for Second Chances.
I think hold on.
Let me just add that to my Goodreads real quick.
Yeah.
Well, she has a new book coming out this summer called The Ripple Effect.
The Ripple Effect.
Yeah.
This is live on Liz and Liz, putting things on our TBRs.
Thank you.
So she's just really smart. And so she writes these romances they don't feel like anything you've ever read before. She's
I love
an
it when that happens.
anesthesiologist. I don't know. She's just really cool. I don't know her, but I love her books.
That happened to us this year with Kennedy Ryan.
Oh,
We both
I
read
love
the,
Kennedy Ryan.
yeah, we both read the whole Skyland series, and then we were so lucky to get Arcs of Can't Get Enough, and like, oh my gosh, like some people have never read her, and we hadn't either until this year, and where have we been? Her books are insane.
And I think not just her, like Elsie Silver, that happened to us too. It was, we had heard of them, we just hadn't gotten around to it, and now I'm like, I've missed out for so long. So
Yeah.
and
No,
actually that happened with you too. When Liz and I became really good friends, she goes, have you read, I think it was, which one was it?
Well, it was a couple years ago, so that probably was same time next summer.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, and she goes, read it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, now I'm in love. Thank
Yeah.
you.
See, Liz is always in her fantasy era.
Yeah.
So she's reading like 900-page books about dragons, which is same. But I have to read romance in between all of those. And I've got like you, Carly, Jessa, Emily are just like always on my in-betweens. So I like flagged her down and I begged her. She was like, oh, I have that on my shelf already. I just haven't gotten to it. And I was like, get to it.
And now you're an auto buy. Like, I'm
That's
like,
so awesome. I wish 100 people were doing that today. It's just like one word of mouth makes such a huge difference.
I mean, it truly is. And the thing that I love the most about you, I said it a little bit before, is that there are some of my books that I don't feel I can share. They're just not, and I'm very close to members of my family, so I like to share books with them. And some of them I'm just like, no, because no. And yours,
Right.
I'm like, I've got a new book for you.
Yeah.
Here you go. And like my grandma, for instance, she's like, when is that new book coming out that you've been talking about? And it's a love story. And I said, you gotta wait, but it'll be here. And she's ready. And it makes me so happy to be able to share something that I love reading and an author that I love, because it connects us in multiple different ways.
Thank you. That was such a nice thing. When I was on book tour last summer, Summer Romance is kind of a book about like mothers and daughters. And 9 times out of 10, the people who were coming to my events were mothers and daughters together. Like they made a night of it to come and talk about the book. And that was just so heartwarming to me. I love that.
Is it kind of surreal, like when people come and kind of share their story with you and stuff? Like how do you navigate that? Like, does it make you more passionate? How do you?
Okay, so here's what it's like. It's like I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I just write a bunch of crazy stuff that's like coming from I don't know where. Like my brain's not even turned on. It's like in my heart, and I've got all this stuff in my heart and I'm like pouring it into my computer. And then a year later, a stranger in Kansas opens my book and sees the contents of my heart, and now it's in her heart. And then she comes to my event and we talk about it. Surreal. That's like the craziest thing I could conceive of. And it's magic. I mean, it's just like, it will never get old. It has not gotten old. It's just amazing. And people want to tell you their stuff and their story and, how they feel. And then here we are, like all of us with our open hearts standing around. It's like the solution to the problem.
You're not wrong, because look at what we've shared with you.
We've been through so much together already.
Well, I mean, the bathtub trauma is like, that's going in my next book.
Perfect. I'll know. But no, I feel like that's exactly, now I just like need you to come to Indiana, because so many people, like Catherine Center was here for the Rom-Commers last year, and there were 630 people at that book event.
Amazing.
And we were there until 1 a.m. because she refused to just like sign the book and push them. She wanted to like chat,
connect,
and like, how did this make you feel? And like, are you well after reading this? Like, how is your heart doing? And it was like the best of it ever. And I just feel like that's exactly
Wow.
what would happen if you came here.
Like, I want to share
That's
you with
amazing.
everybody.
Yeah.
I just want you to
So
be there
please,
and be like,
come here.
here, take her.
Where in Indiana are you guys?
We're like northeastern. We often travel down to Franklin, which is like south of Indianapolis.
With Wild Geese Bookshop.
Yeah, with the Wild Geese Bookshop. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I have.
But we're
Yeah. So we travel a lot, about 2 hours away for the book events, like at least twice a month. And we just get an Airbnb and we're like cool with the owner and yeah, we have friends. But this bookstore just opened not even 6 months ago. So
Wow.
she's starting to put bids out for events and stuff too. So
yeah, she's trying to like get her name out and everything, and you know, it's a process.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love all these new bookstores popping up.
I know,
like-
it brings me such joy. This
Feels
is
very
our
life
first
affirming.
locally owned new bookstore, and it's woman owned, and she prioritizes like
Women authors.
female BIPOC authors. Like, she's a gem, and her name is also Liz. So there's 3 of us.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's amazing.
And speaking of, so with the rise now of books, I feel like books have really kind of made a big comeback. That has probably been super amazing for you as an author too. Like, just watching all of your stuff be consumed in like the physical form and everything. Has anything changed with your publishing process or anything as books have gone viral or anything like that?
You know, I think that I was on the wave so it was really during COVID that everybody started reading like crazy. I mean, I probably read 100 books during that time. But that's also when I published my first of these books. So nothing's changed because I've sort of been writing through that wave, but I am writing a book a year. And that seems to be what people who write romance are doing. I don't feel rushed about it. I actually feel like it would be the perfect pace if the year had 14 months in it. I don't know if that's something you guys can help me with.
I'll work on it.
We know some
Thank you.
people.
Thank you. But no, it's just I feel like I've got really lucky because I was writing the kind of book that people wanted to read at the right time.
That's true. That's true. In 2020, I was not wanting to read like Hunger Games or Handmaid's Tale. I was like, no. I need Nora Goes Off Script. That's exactly what we all needed, and we still need. So I'm so glad that you're here.
You know, when I'm writing, though, I like to read something totally different so that my subconscious isn't ripping somebody off.
I love that. That is a great tip because imagine, like, I'm sure it's happened. A romance author is reading a romance author, and then all of a sudden, the next morning, after all her dreams were about Resand, then you get all these comments, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, this man is Resand.
Right,
So
or even just a phrase. Like a phrase can strike you and just go in the back of your mind and then come right out your fingers.
And you never know.
When I'm writing, I'm reading like murder, thrillers, everybody getting chopped up in a lot of pieces.
Incredible.
Like, that's what
Do you have recommendations?
Well, I just read The Sunrise on the Reaping.
Oh, so did we. We were not okay.
Do you think she's writing another book, or do you think she's going to make me wait as she is?
I think that she is, and we talked about this a little bit last week, actually, so you're right on time. We think it's going to be like maybe like a Plutarch book or like a book from a District 1 or 2 situation where it's like an inside the rebellion when it started type of deal.
Oh.
That's my opinion.
Liz had a very good take. I think it would be cool to see the rebellion in Districts 1 or 2, where they're still rebelling by like preparing all of their tributes. But let's see what that looks like, because they are the main focus of Snow. And so them preparing everybody to not be slaughtered is an act of rebellion against the Hunger Games. And I would love to see that that process. And that was like what Liz was talking about. I'm like, that is exactly what I want to see.
It's just rebellion, but like upper middle class. Like every district has their own forms. And I think that would be so cool to see.
Wow. God, I really hope she's writing that book right now.
You know what I will say? The one thing that I left Sunrise on the Reaping with is how diabolically smart and evil Snow is.
Mhm.
For him to be able to outsmart some of the smartest people in the districts as well as he does is great. Like, to outmaneuver
And be
all
50
of them.
steps ahead of every single one
Yeah.
of those citizens.
And I love a villain like that. Like, I love a villain that you respect.
Yeah.
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 He was the first tortured poet, I do believe. Yeah. So the smallest man who ever lived, if you will, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So as we all know, It's a Love Story is coming out May 27th.
Yeah.
So later this month, all of you will be able to read It's a Love Story and find out what Liz and I have been screaming about on the internet. So that's very exciting news. Do you have anything else that you're working on that you're legally allowed to share, or just like what's next for you? Any
Yeah, so
tours?
I just sent a draft of my 2026 book into my editor. And it feels so weird because I've been working on it a lot. My strategy for not stressing out about a book coming out is just writing another book. It's like, so I just think about that. So I'll find out at the end of the week what she thinks about that. It is, let me see if it is actually kind of fake dating, kind of. And it's a woman who has a child. So she's 39 years old. She's a little older. That's all. I like it though. It's fun. It's been really, it's like, it's one of those stories that calls me back. Like in the morning, I'm like, oh, I get to go back to that story. So
That is so exciting.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. We love to read any type of genre, really, but romance specifically. We love to read grown women falling in love.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about
Yeah.
that.
The college kids can't have all the fun, right?
No, although they're fun to read, do not get us wrong. We love to indulge, but there's just something about a woman who knows who she is, getting love the way that she deserves. Makes
Yep.
the world go round.
Yep. Should happen to everybody.
Yeah.
Is there any specific thing that you want to talk about It's a Love Story? Is there any specific thing you want to make sure the readers take in from the book that we have not covered?
I never set out to write a story because I want to like teach anybody anything because I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm talking about. But what came up for me, besides this idea of like checking all the stories that you're telling yourself about yourself, is this place you sometimes get to in life when you feel like you're not keeping up with your peers. And everybody has this and you don't have it, and everybody's doing this and you don't have it. And looking for your validation outside of yourself. It's sort of a big thing in the book. And the reason I love Dan so much is Dan does not look for validation any place but deep within himself. He knows exactly who he is, which is why he can stay so even, because all of his inputs are even. So
I love
yeah,
that. Can I
that
say
was
something?
important to me.
He reminded me so much of Luke from Gilmore Girls.
Oh.
I don't know if you've gotten that from anyone else.
No, well, are you ready for this? I haven't watched Gilmore Girls.
Well, that's exciting and scary.
It's a crazy thing. I mean, what have I been doing with my life? I don't know.
Honestly, it's like you're busy or something. That's
Yeah.
If you ever want to do a buddy watch, we've got you.
I watch it almost every year in full. So,
But it seems kind of daunting. Like, how many episodes are there?
so it's 8 seasons. But some seasons are shorter than others. And fun fact, I don't know if you're aware, it did like win awards, I think, or it's just on record for being the fastest dialogue of any show of all time. So they pack it in. It is the most bingeable thing I've ever seen. You can't look away. Even my husband, who is Luke Dames, can't look away.
Okay. I bet my husband would like it. He loves all the rom-coms and all the Hallmark movies. He'll watch anything.
So does mine. So maybe you should just, give it a little try if you ever have some free time. It sounds like you keep yourself really busy writing, but he really reminded me of Luke. And in episode 1, literally 3 minutes in, you would see it.
Okay. I feel like this is a big compliment. So thank you.
It is, especially
High
coming from
praise.
me. So Luke Danes is like my number one
Heart.
of all time. So I love him. So, and I love Dan. So we just feel so excited that you were here with us, and I'm so appreciative that you came to take time.
And it was just such an honor to meet you. I mean,
Gosh.
like you said, like things never get old, and meeting amazing authors such as yourself just never gets old for us. And like I was screaming all day that this was happening, and I just want to tell you how much I respect and appreciate and admire you as an author, and how much I love your books. And thank you for giving me books to share with the people in my life as well.
Thank you. Oh, that makes me feel so good. I wish I was sitting right there with you guys. This is just,
Well,
you're the
let's come
best.
to Indiana. We can hug.
I'll come
We
to
can
Indiana.
discussion. We'll moderate for you. We'll ask you questions. We can do this again in front of people.
We can have a Taylor Swift themed dinner.
Perfect.
And then binge some Gilmore Girls.
Perfect.
Oh my God. This sounds like we got a girls' weekend coming.
It would be the best.
It would be the best. Thank you guys so much. So fun.
You never know. So, where can our listeners and viewers find you online if they're not following you already?
So I am on Instagram at Annabel Monaghan. Same with Facebook, although I forget to post there all the time. I'm mostly on Instagram. And my website is annabelmonaghan.com. And that's where you'll find all the information about my tour coming up. I have a big tour. I'm going all over the country. And I think that's all going to be up soon.
Yay.
Certainly by the time this airs.
Perfect. Well, as always, you can find us at Liz and Liz Get Literary on literally every platform but X, because you. Nope. And we will see you guys next week.